into some things of the things, child. We got some stuff to talk about today, honey. We got some stuff to talk about. Hit that like button if you are new here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We have a great time over here. You meant what you said when you said it. Really be as bad, because I'll be understanding y'all sometimes. And when y'all know when I say y'all, you know I ain't talking about y'all. You know I'm talking about y'all. It means that all these people that got something to say have been actively involved in the political process in their world. I don't believe it. You ain't gonna convince me. I know y'all love me. What's up? What's up? Happy Monday. It has been a doozy for me. Those of you that are in my membership, if you know, you know. But let's get into it, you guys. Let's get into it. Hey, Papo, how are you, my love? Child, what the hell? Stupid computer. Computer, what are you doing? This thing is getting on my nerves. Sorry, y'all. This pop-up, I'm trying to get this pop-up off my screen and it won't go away, but it's covering up the chat. Y'all, give me a second. This pop-up is... What's up, DC Kool-Aid and Lisa? How y'all doing, ladies? All right. Oh, Lord. Okay. Hey, everybody coming on in. What's going on, Marcus from Amazon and Chester? Okay, and Chester. Quake, what's up, boo? Hey, Chuck. Am I feeling better? Yeah. You know. You're in Little Rock with Mama for her 85th tomorrow. We've been getting around this past weekend. We got back from Philly yesterday after seeing Giovanni's room to play. Oh, wow. Y'all have definitely been moving and shaking. I want to see Giovanni's room too. Tell me how good it was, because I think I'm going to go to New York this summer and do like a weekend in New York, because there are a couple of plays I want to see. I want to see Gypsy. I want to see Giovanni's room. I want to see Hell's Kitchen. I want to see The Great Gatsby. I told you my girlfriend's daughter is actually in The Great Gatsby. So I know I'm not going to be able to see all of that in one weekend. But 2 to 3 shows I could probably do in one weekend. And I would love to take the train up, because I've never taken the train to New York. I've always either driven or rode a bus, like a school, but like for a school trip or like a group organization type trip or whatever. So I've never gotten on like the Amtrak. So I heard that that's a good way to go. So I may do that one weekend this summer, or I will probably do it during the week, so it'll be less people. But I may do that one during the summer and go do like a couple of days in New York and go to a couple of plays. But Giovanni's room is definitely on the list. All right, you guys. Oh, shoot. Take it. Let's get into it. So, yeah, the Amtrak is expensive, but I just want the experience. Because I think that's why I never did Amtrak, because every time I look, the prices are like, I can fly for cheaper and be there in 45 minutes. But I don't know, for the experience, I may try it. I don't know. I mean, if the prices are ridiculous, I'm not. But if it's a good, if I can catch a sale or something. Hey, DeMarcus, what's up? What's up, Nay? How you doing? I have nothing planned for my birthday. Not a thing. I did so much last year for my birthday. Like, I really did a lot for my birthday last year that honestly, I'm just chilling. I'll probably go out to dinner with some friends. I'll probably go out to dinner with my family. I'm not really doing too much of anything this summer. I think 4th of July weekend, I'm going to be in Philly with some friends. Where their house is, they have a really nice like townhouse, and their roof is like a rooftop balcony, like a rooftop deck, and they have a perfect view of where the fireworks are. So she invited us to come up, invited some people to come up and hang out on the deck and watch, see the fireworks and stuff. And they're actually selling their house. So this is going to be the last time that we kind of can do that. So that's probably where I'm going to actually spend 4th of July. But where I'm going to actually be on my birthday, have no idea. Have no idea. But it is officially 1 month away from my birthday. This time next month, we will be celebrating. Well, I will be celebrating my birthday. I did put my wish list in the chat. Again, I want to continue to reiterate, nobody is obligated to get me anything. Like if I roll around and ain't nobody buy me nothing, life is good. I still love y'all. Y'all still love me. I know what it is. Life is lifing. And you know, you may have the desire, but not the money. You may have the money and not the desire. But people do ask. And so I just wanted to give you guys something. Again, if you desire to get me something that's not on the list or something like that, you can reach out to me one-on-one and I can give you an address. I'm just not putting my address, publicly. And I did have a PO box at one time, but it just wasn't worth the money I was spending because I was only, I think in the year I had that PO box, I might have got like four pieces of mail. So it just wasn't worth the money for me to do that. So anyway, y'all, we about to get into, and I know the people be like, girl, you taking too long to get to the tea. It's already been 8 minutes. I'm sorry. Me and my crew, we talk. Okay. That's what we do over here in the tribe. But we about to get into this Roc Nation lawsuit. Now, I saw the headlines like maybe last week or maybe even the week before last. I'm not exactly sure. I did see the headlines, but I'll be honest with you guys. I really started reading the article and it got to be like, what? That's crazy. That sounds so crazy. So I really didn't even do the research to come back down here to talk to y'all about it. But yesterday over to Pam's house, Pam, she started talking about the lawsuit, and even Pam wasn't planning on doing the whole lawsuit. She was just going to tell y'all a little bit about it or tell us a little bit about it. And baby, it got so good that she changed her whole life to go through the whole thing. So thank you, Sean. Thank you, boo. So Tracy sent it to me today because you know how Tracy is. Tracy was like, girl, you need to talk about this. And I really didn't know what else I was going to talk about today. So I said, well, you know what? Let's talk about it. So we have the lawsuit and then we have the response. And listen, this thing is a doozy. So buckle up, Buttercup. We about to get into this lawsuit. I'm going to share it on the screen. That thing was better than Diddy Ray. Hey, Nitwit, thank you for being a member for 17 months. Nitwit said, there's a gift I want to get you, but I don't want to collect your personal info. I will send you the link and let me know how much it is. Okay, baby, you could. That's fine, Nitwit. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Now it almost made you late for night service. Now we ain't trying to make nobody late for church now. All right, y'all. Let me put this lawsuit up on the screen, child, so we can read through it. Now, y'all know Pam, because that is what Pam does for a living. Pam gets into all of the minutia, right? She goes through everything, baby. We just gonna read the part, y'all. You know, we on and remember, this is not a law channel. Pam, the law intellect, is a law channel, so she is gonna break it down and give y'all the law, baby. We just clowning over here, okay? So I just want to be very clear for people be in my comments and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. You right, I don't. I don't. All right, let me take this off the screen. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Okay, let me take this off the screen. Thank you, Nitwit, again, boo. Let me make this bigger. Shoot, that's not what I meant to do. All right, let me make this bigger. All right. Let me make this bigger so y'all can see some of it. Okay, so okay, Chuck. All right. Okay, so let's get into it. So These are the facts. Now, this is the case dealing with Desiree Perez, who is the CEO at Roc Nation, and her daughter and her daughter's husband. Okay. It is a whole situation, right? Now, Desiree Perez has a whole a legal history herself, which I tried to Google it, but at this point, everything you Google, all of this stuff is right on top. So I may go deeper. I know that there are TikTok videos that were done, but she is actually a convicted drug trafficker. And they do talk a little bit about it in the lawsuit. So now Desiree's name came up as it relates to Tory Lanez, as it relates to, other things. So her name been in these streets. Okay, her name has been in these streets. But let's get into it. So let's read through this. All right. Facts rise to the claims. This case gives meaning to the phrase, you wouldn't believe it until you see it. Desiree Perez is a former drug trafficker, confidential informant, and convicted felon who is now the CEO of Roc Nation in New York City. Now, listen. Oh, that's the other thing. We're doing commentary over here. So if you don't want the commentary, keep it moving. Uncle Jay, how's your mom, boo? How's everything going? We do commentary over here. So let me say this about my commentary. You already know where we're going with this when the first line under the facts lets you know, baby, they said this woman is a former drug trafficker, a confidential informant, and a convicted felon who is now the CEO of Roc Nation. Now, for the average person, the next question out your mouth might be, how in the hell did she become a CEO of Roc Nation? But, that's another conversation for another day, honey. Demore Hadley is Desiree's biological daughter. Javon Hadley is Demore's husband. Demore met Javon while they attended Miami Palomito Senior High School. Demore and Javon have been together for the past 15 years and got married in 2024. This complaint will refer to them collectively as the Hadleys. For the past 2 years, Desiree has used her money, power, and influence to tear the Hadleys apart. Every time, listen, all I heard was money, power, respect, what you need in life. Money, power, respect. Y'all know that Lil Kim song? Mm-hmm. Desiree was pardoned by Trump during his first term. Ooh, I wonder how much that check was. Okay, then. Moving right along. Desiree created an enterprise of individuals to effectuate her plot and used unlawful means to have Javon falsely arrested on 3 different occasions and Demore falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Markman Act statutes. Unfortunately, as detailed below, Desiree has a history of using illegal tactics to get her way, even if it requires wearing rubber gloves and providing false information to authorities. Y'all, why they insert this picture of this lady with these rubber gloves on her hand? Y'all, why did they insert this picture of this lady with these rubber gloves on her hand? In addition to being the CEO of Roc Nation, upon information and belief, Desiree is part owner of the company. Roc Nation was founded in 2008 by music icon Jay-Z and has become one of the most influential entities in the entertainment and sports industries. Roc Nation represents chart-topping musicians, elite athletes, and influential entertainers, including Rihanna, J. Cole, Shakira, Kevin Durant, and Saquon Barkley. The National Football League contracts Roc Nation to organize and select performers for the Super Bowl halftime show. Roc Nation also assists artists with creating content for concerts and movies. Desiree, as CEO, has an army of tech staff with access to the best technology that money can buy. She also has a team of attorneys and private investigators at her disposal. Despite her current position, Desiree's background and discreet rise to prominence was highly unusual. Unfortunately, Desiree's past and her abandonment of Demore is the root cause of the current friction between mother and daughter. Their relationship is unfortunate, sad, and disheartening. More disappointing, their relationship could have been repaired through alternative means, but Desiree chose to employ heavy-handed tactics instead. Yeah. Hold on. Uncle Jay said, so far, surgeries in a couple of hours. Thank you for the prayer. Okay, baby. We're going to definitely keep positive vibes. Well, there's nothing illegal about wearing gloves, but I think the implication is that if you're doing things wearing plastic gloves, I think the implication is that maybe you're up to no good. I'm just saying, the average person don't sit around doing work in gloves. I'm just saying. I ain't saying that means, I'm just saying. That's all I'm just saying. Okay. Sorry, I was checking my email. Okay. Their relationship, I just read that. Sorry. Okay. Desiree's past as a drug trafficker, confidential informant, fraudster, and fugitive. Desiree participated in federal drug trafficking activities in the 1990s under her prior name, Desiree Reynoso. And then they include her, I guess it's her warrant for her arrest. Okay. Following Desiree's federal indictment arrest, she was originally sentenced to 30 months in prison. However, Desiree became a confidential informant and provided information to federal law enforcement, which caused the government to file a motion eliminating her 30-month prison sentence. And there's that. While engaged in narcotic trafficking, Desiree gave birth to Demore in November of 1994. Even after Demore's birth, Desiree continued to engage in criminal conduct. For instance, local law enforcement arrested Desiree in April of 1996 for a slew of fraudulent criminal activity, including organized fraud, grand theft, and several counts of uttering a forged instrument. Okay. Again, this is a copy, I guess, of her arrest history. Okay. When Desiree got arrested on state charges, she had already been sentenced to federal prison, but was still out on bond. Her surrender date got delayed to August the 12th of 1996. As shown on her federal probation affidavit, Desiree later fled to New York while on probation and became a fugitive from justice. In March of 1998, New York officials arrested Desiree for grand larceny, criminal use of drug paraphernalia, and criminal possession of a firearm. Desiree pled guilty in New York State Court, but was only sentenced to a conditional discharge. Desiree was eventually sentenced to 9 months imprisonment for violating federal probation. Choosing a life of crime over motherhood, Desiree dumped her infant daughter, Demore, on the maternal grandfather, Julio, and his longtime partner, Olga. Growing up, Demore referred to Julio as abuelo and Olga as mommy, which Desiree despises to this day. Girl, what you mad for? You left the baby with the people? Hey, powerful, you made it home safely, boo? You left the paper. You left with the people. What you mad that she called the man Poppy and mommy? That's where you left the baby. Now, I mean, in 2002, almost fresh out of prison, Desiree somehow became the owner of the 4040 Club in New York. See, they shady. They shady. What you mean she somehow became the... Oh. Listen, I have a question. Excuse me. I have a question for the people in the chat. It's 100 of y'all in this chat. I have a question for y'all. Do y'all know, like, have y'all done the research on this lady? Have y'all done, did she used to engage in these criminal activities with Jay-Z? Like, is that their connection? Because I'm trying to understand how you the CEO, you owner of the 4040 Club. Like, did you take a charge for Jay-Z? I mean, Jay-Z by his own admission dabbled in the illegal, he was a street pharmacist. He said that. I mean, so that's not a secret. But I'm wondering, have y'all done the research? Like, did they work together? Because I must admit, I'm a little curious myself how she obtained such a high position in Roc Nation. It's been heavily implied that they ran together. Okay, Xavier. I mean, that's the connection I'm making. Listen, I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm just saying I got questions. That's all I'm saying. Desiree has mostly remained in the greater New York area since then and chose money, power, and influence at all costs. Every time I read money, power, influence, all I hear is money, power, respect. I'm sorry. I don't know why, but that's what I hear. All right. To the outside world, it appears that Desiree turned her life around and became a successful CEO. But secretly, Desiree continued to engage in acts exposing herself and others to both civil and criminal liability, which a state prosecutor noted in her closeout memorandum relating to Javon's fraudulent arrest. So here's an excerpt of what I guess the person said. The victim's mother called in a false 911 call in December, which is a crime and in of itself, and reported the victim was getting kidnapped. The victim's mother also petitioned to have the victim Markman acted, and the victim was Baker. Okay. The lawsuit, yeah, the law case. Okay. The witness under oath told ASA subpoena ASA Farrell, that the victim does not do drugs or drink. The Markman Act was voluntarily withdrawn on April the 5th, the day the defendant was arrested for case The victim on April the 16th testified under oath. Okay. So that's an excerpt from what was stated about what the mama did to Javon. Okay. As related to this lawsuit, Desiree conspired with others to illegally record the Hadleys in their bedroom, hack DeMore's phone, and unlawfully detain the Hadleys on several occasions, which included concocting false evidence against them. Candidly, it is difficult to imagine that a mother would do the acts listed below to her own child, but the screenshots included in this complaint prove otherwise. Okay, so now we're about to get into all the things. Course correction says, so where did she get the money to own the club after being locked up? Well, if she was a successful drug dealer, a whole lot of drug dealers got out of jail and had money. Listen, don't let the government keep fooling y'all into thinking they got all this drug money from these people. They did not. Some of Rayful Edmonds soldiers, when they got out of jail, opened up businesses, was driving nice cars, had clubs. Baby, don't make the government have y'all believe that they got all that money from them people, because they did not. How to get past the IRS? Baby, they weren't working a job. They weren't filing taxes. They weren't filing taxes. It was, if they sent the money out of the country, or if they had the money hidden in places that, not in a bank, they just had the money hidden. The money was there when they got back. I think people, and I'm not talking about course correction. I'm just saying in general, when we look at these shows about the drug dealers of the 90s, and they're talking about how these people were making millions of dollars a week, they were making millions of dollars a week. I don't care how many cars you drive. I don't care how much jewelry you buy. I don't care how much money you give to your women, how many shopping sprees you go on. $1 million a week for an 18-year-old is still $1 million a week. And a lot of that money, quiet as kept and loud as it is, they have y'all thinking that these were just a bunch of dumb niggas that was out there selling dope. A lot of them put that money up. A lot of them sent that money out of the country. Quiet as kept and loud as it is, a lot of them had, I ain't going to try to make this a racial thing, but a whole lot of them had white accountants helping them hide that money. Please believe. And when a lot of them got out of jail, and was living all right. I know for a fact some of them got out of jail up here in the D.C. area, and they was opening up businesses and everything else. Child, they was good. They were good. Okay. That's what used to frustrate me, Xavier, when we would look at power. And I'm like, I'm not understanding how one thing go wrong and y'all don't have no money. No money? But anyway, I don't want to get off on the whole power thing. I don't want to get off on no power thing. Let's finish reading this, child. Plus, also to understand, if Jay-Z owed her a favor, she might not have needed no money. If she called in the favor, she might not have needed the money. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, let's get back to this, child, because we got a lot to get through. All right, so here's the first accusation. Desiree unlawfully wiretapped Demore and Javon's bedroom. First of all, from that title alone, Houston, we got a problem, but let's go. Desiree, at an unknown time, conspired with others to serendipitously plant a camera into the Hadley's bedroom without their knowledge, which existed since at least July 18th of 2022. Desiree literally admitted this fact in a frivolous lawsuit she filed against Javon. In her complaint, Desiree even included a snapshot from the illegal recording device in the Hadley's bedroom. So you mean you planted an illegal... Wait a minute. Nope. Pause. We got to pause for a second. You mean to tell me that you planted an illegal recording device in your daughter's husband's bedroom, and in a lawsuit you filed against the husband, you use a snapshot from the illegal video footage to prove... Y'all, what we doing here? Let me keep reading, child. Let me keep reading. In addition, and this is a picture of it. You see, this is a picture from the camera. In addition to the illegal camera, Desiree also planted a listening device and did go a copy of the listening device. Unbeknownst to the Hadleys, Desiree kept both recording devices in their bedroom for years. For years? Which is clearly illegal. So, I'm sorry. So you was listening to your daughter have sex? You was listening to your daughter have sex? Because, I mean, let's be clear. It's wrong to illegally record anybody. Let's start at the beginning, okay? Let me put that out there. It is wrong to illegally record anybody. However, you couldn't have put it in the kitchen. You couldn't put it in the living room. Of all rooms, the bedroom? That is a lie. Okay, moving right along. Desiree illegally hacked Demore's iCloud account. So let's start this. Desiree also hacked or directed her highly trained technical staff at Roc Nation to hack Demore's iCloud account, giving Desiree unfettered access to Demore's digital data, including text messages, photographs, and videos. Demore has witnessed her mother direct her tech team at Roc Nation to infiltrate other people's digital data, including an instance where Desiree wanted to determine how a chart-topping artist's upcoming movie got leaked. Demore first realized her mother hacked her iPhone on March the 1st of 2024. On that day, Javon and Demore's friend Sugarine called Demore after noticing that her cell phone and Apple Watch were pinging in New York. So they got a screenshot showing that she was pinging in New York, but they live in Florida, I guess. Her Apple Watch also showed it was located at 538 West 26th Street in New York. There's her Apple Watch. When Demore checked her iCloud account on her phone, which she had in her hand in Miami, it showed that iPhone 2 on her account was pinging to Roc Nation's headquarters in New York. Girl. There's the screenshot showing the pinging at the Rock. I guess that's Roc Nation right there, child. The problem is that Demore only had one iPhone device attached to her iCloud account, the one that she was literally holding in her hand. Not surprisingly, Desiree's office at Roc Nation is located at 540 West 26th Street in New York. There we go. Okay. Google Maps shows 538 West 26th Street. The location appearing on Demore's iCloud account and 540 West 26th Street, which is Roc Nation's headquarters, are literally part of the same building. And I don't know why y'all felt like we needed a picture of the front of the building, but there it is. Okay. Demore believes the iPhone 2 device in her iCloud account, which placed her location at Roc Nation in New York, was a device cloned by her mother's team. Again, Demore has personally witnessed her mother order her team to clone a person's iPhone for her access. In Desiree's frivolous lawsuit recently filed against Javon, she somewhat admitted to hacking Demore's phone. Desiree filed screenshots of text messages between Demore and Javon, but failed to adequately explain how she acquired them. The prosecutor in Javon's case even noted the oddity of Desiree's ability to provide private conversations between Demore and Javon that dated back to 2017. I'm sorry. We gotta... Girl, ma'am. Ma'am. Hey, girl. Desiree. Hey, girl. So you was doing illegal stuff and then you went to the courts to get them to help you legally with information you obtained illegally? Is that what I'm understanding right now? Is that, hey, help me out. Is that what we're understanding right now? That you were doing things illegally to get information to prove that I guess Javon was doing stuff that you then in turn wanted to have a legal remedy. Exactly, Chuck. You can't go into court with dirty hands. You got to have clean hands when you go into court. You can't go into court with information you obtained illegally and ask the court for some help. Listen, y'all, we ain't even, I'm gonna stop talking but I'm so baffled by this. Well, Xavier, we're gonna get to it now. Javon and Demore ain't innocent, okay? We're gonna get to them in a minute. But let me keep reading. Okay. As explained below, Desiree used illegal bedroom recordings, stolen iCloud data, and other means during her conspiracy to fraudulently convince people that Demore needed to be unlawfully committed to mental health institution and a drug rehab facility under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act statutes. She used the same information to get Javon falsely arrested. Okay, so now we're getting into Desiree threatened to Baker Act Demore. It explains it. Okay. Desiree's first time threatening to commit Demore to a mental health institution occurred on September the 14th of 2023. That day, Desiree lured Demore to her home in Pinecrest, Florida, under the false pretenses that Demore's uncle needed to be taken to the hospital, which was untrue. Demore rushed to her mother's home and was confronted by her mother for an intervention. As seen below in the snippet from the police report, Desiree admitted to having an intervention for Demore that she hired a counselor named Victoria Hunter. Although Desiree told officers that Victoria Hunter is a therapist, Ms. Hunter has never been a licensed therapist in Florida. Desiree convinced Ms. Hunter to lie to the police and falsely claimed she was a therapist. What is wrong with these people? Demore was not interested in her mother's intervention and demanded to leave. However, Desiree prevented Demore from leaving by confiscating her dog. Y'all, this shit's not funny, but it is so funny all at the same time. Girl, you stole the girl dog. Desperate to leave, Demore attempted to climb over her mother's security fence. Desiree pulled Demore back and stated, "I'm going to Baker Act you if you stay with that nigger." They put the ER. They put the ER on there. "I will have you committed." They put the hard ER. So y'all know what they're trying to say. Now she hang out with Jay-Z and them. Y'all know she don't say the word with the hard ER. I'm not saying that she has a right to say it or don't have a right to say it. I ain't getting into that conversation. But y'all know that ain't how she say it. She friends with Jay-Z. She don't use the hard ER. Y'all know she don't use the hard ER. She said, "I'll get you and your little dog too." Shut up, Abby. Abby! Okay. Okay, never mind. Moving right along. Okay. Desiree's statement was not some veiled threat, and later came to fruition as explained below. Demore called 911 and requested police assistance. Desiree flaunted her power as the CEO of Roc Nation and claimed she had the Pinecrest police in her pockets. Pinecrest police officers arrived on scene and eventually forced Desiree to allow her daughter to leave, but due to her influence, the officers did not press charges against Desiree for false imprisonment. The same day, Desiree showed up to Demore's grandfather's home where the Hadleys were residing. Desiree confronted Javon and told him, "I know everything that happens with you and Demore. If you stay with her, you're going to get yourself killed." Based upon Desiree's threats, the Hadleys moved out of Demore's grandfather's home on October the 1st of 2023 and into a home located in Homestead, Florida. In response, Desiree rented the house directly across the street from the Hadleys in Homestead, pointed a camera toward their home, and ordered private investigators, many were unlicensed, to stalk and harass them. The investigators who stayed across from the Hadleys work for CTS Research, Inc. CTS is located in New York City. Girl, so you scared your daughter into moving out of the house with her grandparents. So her and her husband, they rent another house. Javon is her husband. And then you rent the house across the street? Wow. Okay. CTS investigators follow the Hadleys 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Many times, CTS investigators follow the Hadleys at unsafe distances in their cars, causing the Hadleys to fear for their safety while driving. On one occasion, a CTS investigator who was unlicensed had a gun laying on the front seat while following Javon. Below is a camera used by Desiree's investigators. Do y'all see that? I don't know if y'all can see. It might be too big. Too small. Let me make it bigger. Can y'all see how clearly that camera is in that window? Y'all, this is crazy as hell. Yeah, you have to have your PI license to do certain things. To just observe somebody and follow them around, but you have to have a PI license if you want to be able to testify in court cases and stuff like that. You have to have a license. Yeah. And I'm sure just like with any other license, the qualifications are different probably from state to state. Okay. Oh, Lord. Okay. Desiree conspired with Demore's employer, Iconic Creative LLC. After her first plot failed, Desiree upped the stakes to have Demore committed. Since January of 2021, Demore worked for a creative agency in Miami called Iconic Creative LLC. Of course, Iconic often worked events for Roc Nation and its artists. For 2.5 years, Demore's salary at Iconic was approximately $65,000, and the company was in financial distress, the fact that the owners shared with Demore. So here's text messages where they're saying, We're in a bad place. We're 45K in debt. Yesterday, a photographer from Zion in New Orleans was not paid either. Okay, AJ hasn't been paid in months. But in October of 2023, right after Desiree threatened to Baker Act Demore if she did not leave Javon, Demore received a salary increase from $65,000 to $125,000. Baby, that's a hell of a salary increase. That is double her salary. Can you imagine overnight your salary just doubling overnight? For no reason, same job, same responsibilities. You just wake up one day and they say, okay, we're going to double your salary. Girl. Upon information and belief, Desiree stepped in and helped resolve Iconic's financial problems with strings attached, i.e. controlling Demore. Demore found it odd because she knew about the company's financial situation. She was also ecstatic about her pay increase, of course, but little did she know what was to come. Suddenly, Iconic began asking Demore to stay late, work longer hours, and to frequently travel. Excuse me. While some of the demands made sense at the time because of the pay increase, Demore did not realize that a nefarious plot was on the way to split up her and Javon. On December the 12th of 2023, Elizabeth Fergala and Benny Fergala, the owners of Iconic, texted Demore, stated that she was required to attend a meeting with the Nike Academy the following day, December the 13th of 2023. Demore found it odd that Liz and Benny told her to attend a Nike Academy meeting because the Nike Academy was revamping its workshops. When Demore signed into the Zoom, only one person, a woman by the name of Rachel Thomas, was in the training. Now, Thomas is in air quotes, so I'm assuming that may not be her real last name. Okay, Demore found this to be odd because every other training or meeting with the Nike Academy consisted of at least 20 people. Rachel signed into Zoom and identified herself as a representative from the Nike Academy. Rachel then began asking Demore questions that were unrelated to work. Demore, suspicious of Rachel's intent, asked Rachel if she could record the conversation. Rachel consented. Demore recorded the conversation and took a screenshot of Rachel. So there's the picture right there. There's the screenshot of Rachel. Rachel proceeded to give Demore a quasi-psychological evaluation without Demore's approval or consent. Upon information and belief, Desiree conspired with Liz and Benny, the owners of Iconic, to have Demore undergo a mental health evaluation with Rachel. After the training, Demore asked for Rachel's Nike Academy profile. Rachel agreed to provide it, but did not do so immediately, probably because it hadn't been created. A few days later, Demore received a fake link showing Rachel's false affiliation with Nike Academy. And so there it is right there, child. There's the picture, child. Upon information and belief, Desiree and or Liz and Benny asked someone to create the fraudulent website. The website was later deleted after Liz and Benny realized that Demore was becoming suspicious. Liz and Benny required Demore to attend 2 other training sessions with Rachel Thomas. The last one occurred right before Christmas. At the time, Demore did not know Rachel's true identity, but in reality, Rachel Thomas was really a woman named Rachel Bernstein. Rachel Bernstein is a licensed marriage and family therapist from California who specializes in sexual cults and has a podcast on sexual cult recovery. Girl. Y'all, this is some crazy shit. And here's her actual profile right here. And that is the same woman. Can y'all see these pictures? That is definitely the same woman. It looked like the same photo shoot. Hold on. Y'all, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Can y'all see this picture of this lady? Now, that's Rachel Bernstein. That's Rachel Bernstein. It says, "Hi, my name is Rachel Bernstein. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and cult specialist. My areas of expertise include family and relationship counseling, as well as providing emotional support and coping skills to children and parents. Additionally, I concentrate on cult interventions, cult recovery, and reacclimation. My main goal is as a provider is to be an open and encouraging ear to those who are looking for space to talk about what they need. Every client is different, so I always work at a pace that matches what feels best for them. Now, I don't see nothing in here about sexual codes. I just see code. So I don't know if that's somewhere else on her website, but that's her picture right there. Now let's scroll up. Let's go back to Rachel Thomas. Let's go back to the picture of Rachel Thomas. That look like the same lady to y'all. It looked like the same background, don't it? Look at that. Look at that picture. That's Rachel Thomas. And that is Rachel Bernstein. This one just look like it's airbrushed a little bit. See, that look like it's touched up a little bit. Look like they did a little more fluff to the hair. Look like the hair is fanned out a little bit more. And then you scroll down here. But that's the same lady. Y'all think that, anybody think that's a different lady? Now she look like the cult leader's wife. Chuck say she looks culty. Lord. Well, that's what it is, y'all. Okay. Let me get back to it. Okay. Suffice to say, Rachel Bernstein was never associated with the Nike Academy when Demore attended the training sessions, in air quotes. Desiree immediately conspired to have Javon arrested. So let's talk about this. On December the 26th of 2023, less than a week after the forced sessions with Rachel failed, Desiree reported to Miami-Dade police that Javon battered Demore on January the 16th of 2022, almost 2 years prior. On December the 29th of 2023, officers responded to the Hadley's home to speak with Javon. Demore answered the door and told the officers that nothing happened on January the 16th of 2022 and directed the police to leave if they did not have a warrant. The next day, on December the 30th of 2023, Desiree ordered private investigators to follow the Hadleys to Pinto Farms in Homestead, Alabama, Florida. While the Hadleys were enjoying Pinto Farms with their nephews, Desiree falsely reported to 911 that Javon kidnapped Demore and was holding her hostage. And here is an excerpt from the police report. As shown in the screenshot below, Desiree's allegations are completely false. Demore was hardly being abducted. She was spending quality time with her soon-to-be husband and nephews. So there's pictures of them riding the little bikes, I guess. I don't know, dirt bike situation. Ms. Perez also responded officers to respond on December the 26th, but the Hadleys were not home. The state attorney's office documented Desiree's criminal act of falsely reporting a crime. In their closeout memorandum, the prosecutor said the following. The victim's mother called a false 911 call in December, which is a crime in and of itself, and reported the victim was getting kidnapped. The victim's mother also petitioned to have the victim Marchman acted and the victim was Baker acted. The witnesses under oath told, I've read this part already. We already read this. Okay. When the officers arrived on scene, they quickly realized Desiree lied to the police as recognized by state attorneys. However, Desiree had already conspired with highly ranking members of the police department and others to falsely arrest Javon for the January 2022 alleged battery. Although the prosecutor ultimately dropped the charges against Javon, he was embarrassed that the police arrested him in front of his nephew. So there's the picture of him getting arrested. That's them, girl. Desiree avoided any charges for falsely reporting or kidnapping. Okay. Back to Iconic's plot with Desiree. So let's talk some more about the plot. Approximately 1 week after Javon was released on bond from his fraudulent arrest on December the 30th, Iconic fired Demore without any explanation. Damn. So you went from $65,000 to $125,000 to zero. Here's a copy. And then she got fired through text message. We appreciate your loyalty and put all trust in you. You are one of the smartest young ladies I know. We depend on you, and you can ask Abe and Alyssa how I said give it to Demore. She will figure it out. We just need you right now more than ever. This will change, and we won't depend on you. But for now, we need you. We don't trust anyone. You are family. Huh? I guess it's just a text message to her. I don't know. Upon information and belief, Desiree demanded that Liz and Benny fire Demore. Again, Iconic has a large contract with Roc Nation and its artists, and upon information and belief, Desiree stepped in to help them financially. In addition to firing Demore, Iconic refused to pay her for weeks she had already worked in December of 2023. Demore was told that to receive payment for the week she worked, she had to sign, which was essentially a gag order entitled Separation of Release, which precluded her from reporting Iconic's behavior to Nike. That was obviously illegal. Yeah, because if they making up whole Nike workshops and got people posing to be Nike employees, I guess they don't want you calling Nike. Demore had to threaten legal action to get paid for the time she had already worked. It says here that the children of Iconic's owners are athletes who wanted to be represented by Roc Nation Sports. Oh, wrong screen. Okay, let me scroll down. Desiree hired an attorney for Demore. That same week, Desiree hired attorney Brett Schwartz to improperly influence Javon's misdemeanor battery case. On January the 8th of 2024, Brett Schwartz filed a notice of appearance purporting to represent Demore when Desiree actually hired him for her own interests. So there's the court case. To be clear, Demore never hired Brett Schwartz, nor has she ever talked to him. Nevertheless, Brett Schwartz filed a fraudulent notice of appearance, which caused the prosecutor in Javon's case to reach out to him. So you see this email right here. It says, "Good afternoon. I'm the prosecutor in the above referenced case. I saw that you filed a notice of appearance in the case on behalf of the victim. I would like to speak to your client regarding the above referenced case and schedule a pre-file conference. Please let me know if you have consent to speak with Miss Lopez by Thursday, February the 1st, 2024 by 3 p.m. Thank you in advance." Unfortunately, this was not the only occasion that Desiree hired lawyers who pretended as if they were representing Demore, as explained below. At Desiree's direction, Brett Schwartz tried to convince prosecutors to charge Javon with human trafficking, although there was no legal bias to do so. The excerpt below was taken from an email that Brett Schwartz sent to the prosecutor in Javon's misdemeanor battery case. Wait a minute. So this man said that he was Desiree's attorney and told the prosecutor, "I want y'all to get him for human trafficking." It says, "As a result of the arduous history of manipulation, I will be reaching out to ASA Nicholas Chavez and or ASA Brenda Mezick, who is the chief of the human trafficking unit, to request they investigate and pursue felony charges against Mr. Hadley for human trafficking at the very least." Not at the very least, though. There was absolutely no basis for anyone to pursue felony charges against Javon for human trafficking. Desiree was simply using her money, power, and influence. Money, power, respect, what you need in life. That's what I need. Every time I hear that, that's what I hear. To prevent the Hadleys from being together. Desiree even contacted the prosecutor directly using her Roc Nation business email. She used her Roc Nation business email. After the prosecutor told Desiree and Brett that she could not charge Javon, Desiree asked the prosecutor to improperly extend the case. Desiree wanted to keep Javon on edge. Wow. Unfortunately, the prosecutors agreed to Desiree's demand for more time, which ultimately allowed her to continue to wreak havoc on the Hadleys. Desiree did just that. Desiree's third attempt at a mental health evaluation. On March the 24th, 2024, after the intervention with Victoria Hunter and training with Rachel Bernstein failed, Desiree directed Natalie Anderson, a Roc Nation employee, to confront Demore's therapist, Dr. Luz Biero, who Demore was seeing for grief counseling after her aunt died. Natalie Anderson presented Dr. Biero with a fabricated audio recording of a woman screaming, "Don't R me." At Desiree's direction, Ms. Anderson falsely claimed the recording was Javon R.A.ing Demore. Desiree wanted Dr. Barrow to believe that Demore had some type of mental health issue to capitalize on her threat to Baker Act her. Since Dr. Barrow was intimately familiar with Demore and had seen her on countless occasions, she knew that Demore had never been a threat to herself or others and was not in danger and did not meet the Baker Act criteria. Dr. Barrow refused to do Desiree's dirty work. After learning about Demore's false Baker Act, as explained below, Dr. Barrow wrote a letter disputing Demore's supposed need for treatment or hospitalization. So here's the email. To whom it may concern, I've been working with Ms. Demore Lopez since July of 2022, providing individual sessions. Throughout our therapeutic work, there has been no evidence of visual, auditory, or tactile hallucinations. She has consistently presented as intelligent and coherent. In addition, throughout our clinical work, I have not found reason to recommend hospitalization due to any suspended thought disorder. Regards, Dr. Barrow. This is some crazy shit. On March Desiree's fourth and successful attempt to unlawfully detain Demore. On March the 27th of 2024, after striking out with Dr. Barrow, Victoria Hunter, and Rachel Bernstein, Desiree conspired with and likely paid Dr. Daniel Bober, who works at Memorial Regional Hospital, a state-run facility, to wrongfully commit Demore to a mental health facility under Florida's Baker Act statute. Desiree and her co-conspirators' plan is sickening. Desiree hired private investigators Stephen Caddy, Jessica Caddy, and James Fondo, all owners of Signon LLC, to lure Demore to a marina in Diana Beach. One of the Signon LLC investigators called Demore, pretending to be a property owner who wanted to hire the Hadley's landscaping company. Signon LLC placed a GPS tracker on Demore's car to follow her movements, a fact that James Fondo later admitted to the police on camera. Ciao. When Demore got close to the marina for the business meeting, James Fondo, a former police officer, asked the police to respond on the side of the road near the marina. So here's a picture of that situation. 2 officers from the Broward County Sheriff's Office arrived at approximately 5:40 p.m. James Fondo told the officers that Dr. Bober, who was waiting at the marina, was going to Baker Act Demore. It is important to note that James Fondo said Dr. Bober is going to Baker Act Demore even before he ever met her. In other words, Dr. Bober had no factual basis to initiate a Baker Act because he had never evaluated Demore beforehand. At that point, he had not even seen her in person. But since Demore hired, conspired, and or paid Dr. Bober to commit Demore under the Baker Act statute, he was going to do exactly just that, no matter the circumstances. When Demore arrived at the marina, James Fondo, Stephen, and Jessica Caddy, Dr. Bober, and the police confronted her. And there's the picture of the police and all them people confronting her. The Signon owners pretended to be part of the unspecified mobile crisis unit that worked with Dr. Bober, which is a lie. Demore repeatedly told the police that she never met Dr. Bober before and he was not her doctor, and that her mother conspired with Dr. Bober to Baker Act her. Well, I can understand how the police would think you was crazy because this story sounds crazy as hell. So I can see if somebody was saying, hey, she's unstable. Hey, she's crazy. Hey, she needs to be committed. And you standing in the middle of the parking lot saying, help, my mother is paying the police. My mother paid everybody off. This is all my mother. She put a listening device in my bedroom, and she, like, I can understand how people would think you need some help. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I can see how the police might be standing in that parking lot going, oh yeah, we see what you mean. She needs help. You see what I'm saying? Child, this is crazy as hell. We almost done with her side of the story. The police then forced a young woman Demore to go with 3 complete strangers in a dark gray truck with no hospital, police, or mental health facility insignia on it. And there's the picture. There's the truck they put around. There's the picture of her being put into the truck. The police never even verified the identity of any of the individuals on the scene to confirm they belong to a mobile crisis unit. They just took the word of the 3 fraudsters in a gray pickup truck. Frankly, the BWC footage is disgusting and difficult to watch. Equally disturbing, Dr. Bober wrote on the intake form that he personally examined Demore on March the 27th of 2024. Baby, all I have to say is, for all of these people that your mama is bribing allegedly and coercing allegedly, they putting their whole career on the line. These people are putting their whole careers on the line. Their licensure, all of that. For baby, that paycheck must have been good, allegedly. Allegedly. And there's a copy of the intake form. And he wrote on here, unspecified psychosis. But his statement is bogus because at 5:56 p.m. BWC footage shows Dr. Bober leaning against a truck parked in the marina and talking to the police. So he said that he was examining her at 4:56. At 5. See right there. See the time right there? Well, at the time when he claimed he was examining her, this is where he was. This is where he was. It is doubtful that any doctor has ever conducted a legitimate psychological evaluation under such circumstances. Dr. Bober's license to practice medicine should be terminated. When Demore arrived at the Memorial Hospital on March 27th of 2024, the first doctor examined her at 6:21 p.m. Nothing that she was alert, oriented to person, place, and time, and that her behavior was normal. Noting. And then right here, behavior normal, general facial, no focal deficit present. Okay. Nurses also noted that Demore was cooperative and accused Dr. Bober of colluding with her mother, which is consistent with the BWC footage in this case. Again, this is just a narrative from the nurses, basically stating what they just told us. Reading between the lines, the hospital staff was clearly concerned about Dr. Bober's decision to detain Demore for an involuntary examination and documented her side of the story. Nevertheless, Dr. Bober falsely reported that Demore required intensive, comprehensive, multimodal treatment, including 24-hour medical supervision, which is something that none of his colleagues at the hospital noted. Dr. Bober even directed staff to medicate Demore with Benadryl. Why she needed? I thought that Benadryl for your Benadryl for like allergies and stuff. Why would she need Benadryl? Other than Benadryl making you drowsy and making you go to sleep, like Ray said, he said lay down. That's the only thing I could think of is because it makes you sleepy. Child, Benadryl. In the screenshot above, Dr. Bober wrote, if patient refuses PO, give IM, which essentially means if Demore refuses Benadryl, then force it upon her through an intramuscular injection. Damn. Dr. Bober wrote false information in his report to keep Demore detained and Desiree happy. Dr. Bober even admitted to speaking to Desiree on the BWC footage. According to the issues below, Memorial Regional tested Demore for drugs on March the 27th, which came back negative. So the girl didn't even have no weed in her system. Okay, she had no drugs, no heavy drugs, and not even weed. Because I know a lot of people try to act like weed ain't a drug, but she ain't even had that in her system. Okay. Nevertheless, Dr. Bober conspired with Desiree to commit Demore to Life Skills South Florida Outpatient, which is a drug treatment facility where he is the medical director. Girl. Life Skills is owned by or affiliated with Odyssey Behavioral Health Care. Baby, she about to sue all these people. And there's the board of directors. And there go Dr. Bober right there, medical director. That's from their website. On March the 29th of 2024, despite DeMoray's normal behavior and negative drug tests, Desiree filed an emergency ex parte petition under Florida Marchman Act claiming that DeMoray suffered from drug and alcohol abuse, something that both she and Dr. Bober knew was untrue. DeMoray has never done drugs in her life. Desiree specifically requested for DeMoray to be transferred from Memorial Hospital to Life Skills so that she and Dr. Bober could continue DeMoray's unlawful detention. Perhaps most disturbing, Desiree also moved for guardianship over DeMoray on March the 29th of 2024, claiming that her 30-year-old, highly educated daughter, who never touched illegal drugs in her life, was incapacitated. Desiree blatantly lied in her guardianship petition, claiming that DeMoray was asking friends and family to share prescription pain pills. Well, that certainly would have come up in a drug test, so, Desiree listed Lee Fergala as one of the people DeMoray supposedly asked for pills, the same Liz who Desiree used during the second fraudulent Baker attempt and who was financially indebted to Desiree for saving her company. DeMoray has all her text message conversations with Liz. The message shows that DeMoray never asked Liz for illegal drugs or pills. Desiree also listed, I'm going to call her Miley Garcia, as a person DeMoray sought out for drugs, but when Miley was placed under oath by state attorney's office, she admitted that DeMoray does not do drugs or drink. She said, I ain't going to jail for y'all. The check cleared. Her mama done already paid me, and I'm not going to jail for y'all. Nope, she never asked me for shit. Nope. Millie was the caretaker for DeMoray's grandfather and was frequently in DeMoray's presence. Minerva also never accused DeMoray of using drugs. Moreover, Desiree filed the petition on March the 29th of 2024. DeMoray stopped communicating with her mom long beforehand. Desiree made blatant misrepresentations to the court again. Y'all, I can't wait to hear what the mama's response was, because most of this I heard, but I have not read the mama's response, because there's a whole different side of this story. So y'all hold on. We're going to get there. Hold on. DeMoray is transferred to Life Skills. Since DeMoray concocted a fraudulent ex parte Marchman Act petition, DeMoray was transferred to Life Skills on March the 30th of 2024. While at Life Skills, DeMoray repeatedly asked to be examined by someone other than Dr. Bober, but they initially refused. But unbiased professionals began to realize DeMoray did not belong there. The staff wrote that DeMoray was not delusional, speech is normal, no hallucinations, thought process intact. They also noted DeMoray was always positive. Nevertheless, Life Skills required DeMoray to undergo treatment for an addiction she did not have. DeMoray begged to take a hair follicle test. Eventually, a worker at Life Skills acquiesced, and on April the 3rd of 2024, not surprisingly, DeMoray's hair follicle test, which detects drug use 90 days prior at a minimum, showed no drugs had been in DeMoray's system. There's a copy of the test. Okay. Life Skills did allow her to leave after 2 negative drug tests. All right. Here's Javon's second fraudulent arrest. On April the 5th of 2024, while DeMoray was at Life Skills, Desiree conspired with others and government officials to get Javon arrested for an alleged battery that occurred on September the 11th of 2023. This was another ploy by Desiree and her co-conspirators, because in a meeting on January the 2024, just months earlier, the state told Desiree and her team that no probable cause existed to arrest Javon for the alleged incident. But as referenced in state's closeout memo, Desiree essentially hired a team to get what she wanted. Child. Despite the y'all know what I'm saying, the frivolousness of his arrest, as recognized by the state, Javon was initially ordered to stay away from DeMoray. Desiree capitalized on Javon's wrongful arrest and was not finished terrorizing the Hadleys. Javon's third fraudulent arrest. On April the 8th of 2024, as DeMoray was about to be released from Life Skills, Desiree conspired with others to get Javon false arrest, again for allegedly violating the stay away order related to April 5th, 2024. This was another bogus event captured on body-worn cameras. The day Javon responded to his home to feed the cat. DeMore was still in custody under the fraudulent Marchman Act petition, but was set to be released later that day. Desiree's private investigators who were monitoring Javon contacted the police and told them that Javon was at the house. The BWC footage captures officers speaking with their supervisor about this case. The officers admitted that the higher-ups directed them to arrest Javon. This nefarious act was also addressed in the state's closeout memo. Hold on. After Desiree calls the police to wrongfully arrest Javon a third time, DeMore was released from life skills. Child. It says Desiree's reign of terror continued. Y'all. DeMore immediately reported to the prosecutors that Desiree was using her power, influence, and money to keep them apart. The state asked DeMore to give a sworn statement in their office on April the 26th of 2024. When DeMore arrived, the reception instructed her to sit in the waiting room. While waiting for the prosecutor, DeMore saw Laura Gatz, Esquire, an attorney who supposedly represented the witness in Javon's case, walk in and speak with the receptionist. Laura Gatz was really hired by Desiree. Laura Gatz asked the receptionist, "Has DeMore Lopez arrived yet? She is supposed to be meeting with ASA at 9 a.m. Laura Gatz did not see DeMore sitting there. The receptionist asked Laura Gatz who she was. Laura Gatz identifies herself as DeMore's attorney and the witnesses. Baby. The receptionist told Laura Gatz that DeMore was inside the waiting room and asked if she wanted to sit with her client. She said, "Oh, you're DeMore's attorney. She's right there. You want to go talk to her?" Woo! Laura Gatz, knowing that she did not represent DeMore, said she would just wait outside. DeMore believes that her mother instructed Laura Gatz to respond to the prosecutor's office to intimidate DeMore. This was the second time that attorneys hired by Desiree falsely claimed they represented DeMore. Eventually, the prosecutor dropped all charges against Javon and wrote a scathing 11-page closeout memorandum explaining Desiree and her co-conspirators' unlawful and inappropriate actions. Hold on, let me see how much more we got, because I think we get the point, child. Hold on. Child, we got long. Hold on. We almost at the end. Golly. Okay, we almost at the end. Now it's getting into the counts. Okay. We almost at the end. Oops, I don't know where I left off now. Shit. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Okay, we're almost at the end, child. We're almost at the end. We're on the last 2 pages. Okay. On April the 22nd of 2024, Desiree filed a frivolous lawsuit against DeMore. In that case, DeMore's mom and stepfather, Desiree's husband, surprised DeMore with a new car in December 2020, which they put in DeMore's name. Desiree claimed she was the lawful owner of the car, which was false. Title to the car has always been in DeMore's name. Desiree claimed that she and has a mutual agreement with DeMore, was granted use of the vehicle with the understanding that it would not be disposed of without Desiree's permission. That, too, was false. Desiree claimed that DeMore wrongfully asserted control over the vehicle, causing harm to Desiree. A brief reading of the lawsuit shows how low Desiree will stoop to get what she wants. Recently, Desiree filed a separate lawsuit against Javon, claiming that he violated her right to privacy in a home that she does not live in and only entered 3 times in the last 4 years. That, in fact, Javon and DeMore actually lived in the house that Desiree somehow claimed a right to privacy in. The lawsuit is also frivolous and only intended to harass the Hadleys. DeMore and Javon have spent a large amount of money on lawyers to escape her unlawful detentions and lost out on countless job opportunities. They have suffered economic and non-economic damage from Desiree's acts and others, including lost wages, emotional distress, pain and suffering, etc. The lawsuit follows and Desiree's conduct must cease. Okay, so then it just gets into the different counts, which we don't need to break down the counts. We get it. We got the narrative. Y'all, so before we get into the response, what do we think? We about to get into the response because it's two sides to every story. There's two sides to every story. We about to get into the response because Desiree and her lawyers filed a motion to dismiss, honey. And they got some stuff for them. So let's get into the motion to dismiss. All right. Do we need to take a pause? We ready? Thank you, Ray Bishop. Trigger warning, there is conversations of domestic violence. So, yes. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. Let's take a deep breath. All right. Are we ready? Okay. Let me share my screen again. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, here we go. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So, motion to dismiss pursuant to blah, blah, blah. Okay, introduction. For years, Ms. Perez has been forced to watch her daughter, the plaintiff, suffer inhumane and relentless cruelty, manipulation, and abuse at the hands of the plaintiff's now husband, Javon Hadley. Plaintiff has consistently been subjected to Hadley to physical violence, psychological abuse, sexual exploitation, and financial coercion, including while both of them were living in the family home. Ms. Perez witnessed Hadley's abuse towards her daughter firsthand through information received from several family members, documented in text, photographs, and various recordings that Ms. Perez has viewed. Out of concern for her daughter's physical, and mental well-being, including a text message, the plaintiff would rather die than be separated from her boyfriend, abusive boyfriend. Ms. Perez and family attempted to get help for the plaintiff. Displeased with these efforts, Hadley resorted to retaliating against Ms. Perez, including by unlawfully surveilling her and other members of her family and manufacturing the allegations underlying this baseless and frivolous suit in an attempt to both leverage a large financial settlement and to harass and intimidate Ms. Perez into silence. The complaint is a clear example of the plaintiff's capitulation that her husband's demands for control by asserting these false claims. Among the complaint, 21 clauses of action, 8 are asserted against Ms. Perez, including claims of RICO, and then it goes into all the different things, child, all the counts, child, all the counts. This is the legal standard for the motion to dismiss. And then it's talking about the RICO. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me go back to the top. I was looking for something. That's why I was pausing. I'm sorry. All right. Let me go back to the top. Okay. To survive a motion. Okay. This is the legal state. Okay. Well, we know that. All right. Let's start here. Argument. As detailed below, plaintiff's insufficient and conclusory allegations do not satisfy the essential elements of any of her causes of action. A civil RICO claim under the U.S. statute, has 5 elements, yada, 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 yada. Okay. 1, no enterprise. The complaint does not allege a cognizable RICO enterprise. Enterprise must be an ongoing organization, formal or informal, in which the various associates function as a continuing unit with a common purpose. Here, plaintiff does not explain how there is any such enterprise outside of just Ms. Perez. In fact, the entire cause of action describing the supposed RICO activity is just actions allegedly taken by Ms. Perez. Importantly, plaintiff pleads no facts establishing any organizational structure or common purpose uniting these disproportionate entities. There is no allegation of a decision-making hierarchy, no ongoing coordination, and no continuality of any such enterprise. In sum, there are no allegations to support a RICO. No pattern of racketeering. Plaintiff also fails to plead a pattern of racketeering activity. A pattern requires at least 2 predicate acts of racketeering. They are related to each other and that amount to or purpose of theft or continued criminal activity. The complaint is devoid of well-pled facts identifying any qualifying predicate acts, Ms. Perez or anyone else for that matter. Plaintiff makes vague references to kidnapping, wire fraud, or bribery, but these labels of conclusory allegations are unsupported by factual allegations on specific criminal conduct. No injury to business or property. Plaintiff claims injuries are personal in nature, emotional trauma, loss of freedom, attempting to separate her from her boyfriend, which are not compensable under RICO. Plaintiff does not adequately claim that she suffered any damage to a business interest or lost property as a result of the alleged scheme. This is a fundamental pleading omission without harm to business or property. Plaintiff cannot state a RICO claim. For all of these reasons, lack of an enterprise, lack of a pattern of racketeering, and lack of cognizable RICO injury, count 1 should be dismissed. All right. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second because I'm looking for something. Give me a second. No, the daughter wants the RICO. This is the mother's response. This is Desiree's response. This is the Desiree's response. Hold on. Let me scroll down. Because y'all don't care about all of this part. Y'all just want to get to her responding to the things that were said. So let me get to that. Hold on. Okay, here's the part that we're looking for. Okay. I know y'all, I know what y'all want to hear. Okay. All right, let's get into it. Let me get to the part that y'all want to hear. Hold on. Okay, hold on. All right, let's start here. Okay. All right, let me share the screen again. Oh, I know we got the links. That's why I want to get to this before we get to all the different links. Click on the link to the Dropbox. Okay. That's towards the end, right, Tracy? That's at the end, y'all, right? Okay. Hold on, y'all. Oh, excuse me. Whew. I need to take me a nap, honey. Okay. All right. So this is counts 3 for civil conspiracy, fail for state cause of action. It must be dismissed. It says that Ms. Perez, Roc Nation, and Roc Nation employee Natalie Anderson, count 3 alleges a civil conspiracy between Ms. Perez and others that allegedly caused plaintiff to be committed to a facility under the Baker Act. For count 2, dismissal is required pursuant to the intercorporate conspiracy doctrine. The intercorporate conspiracy doctrine provides that acts of corporate agents are attributed to the corporation itself, thereby negotiating the multiplicity of actors necessary for the formation of the conspiracy. Simply put, under the doctrine, a corporation cannot conspire with its employees, and its employees, when acting in the scope of their employment, cannot conspire among themselves. Ms. Perez, Roc Nation, and Ms. Anderson took actions to advance the plan while in the capacity as Roc Nation employees. Accordingly, plaintiff is alleging that Ms. Perez and Ms. Anderson, as Roc Nation employees, conspired with each other in advance that purported conspiracy. Because employees acting in their capacity as employees cannot conspire among themselves, plaintiff fails to meet the first element of a conspiracy claim. Counts 2 and 3 are also subject to dismissal. As to Ms. Perez, because it's not illegal that Ms. Perez even knows many of the individuals with whom she allegedly conspired. As such, there cannot have been a meeting of the minds, a prerequisite with any conspiracy claim. Among the various individuals identified in the complaint, moreover, there is no assertion that Ms. Perez conducted an unlawful act by unlawful means. Even taken as true, she acted in good faith to have the plaintiff evaluated consistent with her rights as a caring mother under the Baker Act and Marchman Act, as she believed plaintiff was in danger to herself, including a text message that said she'd rather die than be separated by her abuser. Based on her concern for her daughter's mental state, Ms. Perez is immunized from these conspiracy claims. Any person, that acts in a good faith. Further, plaintiff conclusory statement that she did not meet the criteria for commitment is summarily unavailing. Plaintiff asserts that her doctor disputed her need for hospitalization due to any suspected thought disorder. However, that is not the proper standard. Instead, plaintiff's own complaint confirms that she likely, as a result of the abuse she has suffered, has refused any treatment, and the ongoing well-documented history of abuse at the hands of Hadley confirms that without treatment, she is likely to suffer neglect or a refusal to care for herself, all of which could have led to future serious bodily harm. Finally, plaintiff alleges that Ms. Perez conspired with Dr. Bober to commit her under the Baker Act, which again is factually unsupported. There's nothing in the complaint to suggest that Dr. Bober did not exercise his own judgment in assessing plaintiff, or the law enforcement did not exercise their own discretion when they directed plaintiff to go with Dr. Bober to the mental health facility for an evaluation. Private citizens have the privilege of reporting information to law enforcement without fear of subsequent tort liability, even if the information they provide turns out to be mistaken, so long as the reporting affords the police the discretion to decide what should be done. In sum, the conspiracy allegations in plaintiff's complaint fail as a matter of law, each of the alleged consistent conspiracy counts. Okay. Plaintiff's claim also fails to provide remedy for the violation of constitutional rights. Persons acting under color of state law. I'm sorry, y'all. Here, the complaint concedes that Ms. Perez is a private citizen. The plaintiff complains of making reports to police, participating in medical, psychological evaluations, and filing or supporting petitions in court. They're all acts that any private individual might undertake. None of these is an exclusive prerogative of the state. It is well settled that the mere fact that a private party elicited help from state authorities does not convert them to a state actor. Plaintiff has not alleged, nor could she allege, that Ms. Perez has any power of authority beyond that of an ordinary citizen. But she's saying that her mama got influenced with the police. I guess she just don't have no proof of it. I don't know. There is no allegation in the complaint, for instance, of any meeting or corrupt agreement between Ms. Perez and any government official. There is no allegation that Ms. Perez controlled or directed the officer's independent judgment. At most, Ms. Perez is alleged to have provided information to officials, which is not enough to support the cause of action. Mm-hmm. Okay. Plaintiff's store communication claim fails for multiple reasons. To state a claim under SCA, a plaintiff must plausibly allege that the defendant intentionally accessed without authorization a facility through which an electronic communication service is provided and thereby obtained, altered, or prevented authorized access to a wire or electronic communication while the communication was in electronic storage. Here, the plaintiff does not identify any specific iCloud file that was accessed, how Ms. Perez accessed it, or whether she lacked authorization to do so, but simply plaintiff claims that Ms. Perez violated SCA by accessing her iCloud account and potentially storing private information from that account. However, courts have held that without proof of assessing more, just assessing a cell phone is not enough. Ooh. Further, plaintiff willfully abandoned an old cracked cell phone, which Ms. Perez purchased for her, and plaintiff synced her cell phone to Ms. Perez's computer, through which plaintiff made her iPhone data available to everyone at the family home before she moved out in 2023. As such, Ms. Perez lawfully reviewed the phone's contents, did not exceed any authorization, and cannot be held liable. Oh, girl. Oh, your mama. Ooh. Oh, girl. Plaintiff's claim under the Federal Wiretap Act and the Florida Security of Commission Act failed as a matter of law. In each count, it is alleged that Ms. Perez at an unknown time conspired with others I always want to say serendipitously, plant a camera onto the Hadley's bedroom without their knowledge. It is also alleged that she planted a listening device. Along with being false, the complaint never addresses what audio device was in the room or whether such a device could actually capture audio. Indeed, the complaint suggests that alleged device is in plaintiff's control. Thus, she could plead with whether the device records audio that can be intercepted by an outside listener. To state a claim under the statutes, plaintiff must plausibly allege defendants intentionally intercepted, endeavored, or intercept or procured another person to intercept or endeavor or intercept child. Okay, let's get to the Dropbox, child. Here, the allegation Ms. Perez planted a surveillance device in the plaintiff's room is not only false, but has no factual support. Notably, the image of Hadley in plaintiff's bedroom, allegedly captured through an illegal recording device, was in fact captured on plaintiff's own cell phone that she left at the home. Unsurprisingly, plaintiff is unable to allege that any of the alleged interceptions from this illegal recording device included audio. All there is to support this allegation is an image. That is because there was no illegal recording device, and plaintiff cannot use an undeniably false fact as a basis to satisfy a federal or state wiretap claim. Child. Girl. Conclusion. The plaintiff's complaint is flawed attempt to penalize the family's legitimate efforts to seek help for her. The sensationalist claims for racketeering and constitutional violations collapse under basic legal scrutiny. Ooh, my. Child. Okay. Lord. All right. This is what I was looking for. This is what I kept scrolling down looking for, y'all. Thank you, Chanel Unfiltered. So she's admitted she did it, but isn't actionable, child. What up, Don? Hey, boo. All right, y'all. Now, this is the part I was looking for. This is what I was scrolling down for. All right. Motion to strike pursuant to federal law, whatever. Introduction. This case stems from a family nightmare in which Desiree Perez and her family have done everything within their ability to free plaintiff from physical violence, psychological abuse, sexual exploitation, financial coercion imposed by her husband, Javon Hadley. Sadly, the complaint is nothing more than an overreaching attack on Ms. Perez with false, scandalous, and immaterial accusations to get what Hadley believes to be his payday. Prior to filing the verified complaint, plaintiff and Hadley's attorney wrote a demand letter to Ms. Perez and sought millions of dollars to avoid a public lawsuit. But Ms. Perez, a loving mother, did not succumb to the disingenuous threat. Plaintiff then filed her complaint, which is replete with false allegations that have no relation to this cause of action asserted and have no purpose other than a transparent effort to harass, defame, and embarrass the party to this action. Indeed, on January the 16th of 2022, plaintiff's husband punched her in the head as captured on the home's video security system, which plaintiff herself asked Ms. Perez to install in the home. On September the 11th of 2023, when plaintiff wouldn't reduce her ownership percentage of the business she co-owned with Hadley down to 5%, which was Hadley's benefit, He physically assaulted her again. The audio and video surveillance cameras in the main areas of the home, not within the plaintiff's bedroom, caught the horrific exchange. In that audio, plaintiff tells Hadley, "Please don't," and began crying. He yelled, "Shut up." Then the sound of a slap is heard, followed by, "Man, stop it. You fake ass crying. I feel like breaking this motherfucker." Hadley then says, "Fucking my mama. My mama. You know your mama thinks you're the dumbest motherfucker. Now look me in my eye. Look me in my eye. Look me in my eye. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Look me in my eye." DH then replied, "Stop hurting me." Hadley responds, "Nobody hurting you. Look me in my eye when I'm talking to you." Plaintiff's family, present for and horrified by Hadley's attack on the plaintiff, had to intervene to physically protect the plaintiff from Hadley as he was hovering over her. Plaintiff's family, not Miss Perez, called the police, who wrote the following in their arrest. So she got the copy of the arrest, and it wasn't her. She said that called the police. This is the backdrop to what the complaint calls Javon's second fraudulent arrest, where charges weren't pursued because plaintiff would not agree to testify against her attacker. And weeks after the September 11th attack, on October the 14th, the plaintiff and Ms. Perez shared the following exchange, in which plaintiff threatened, "I'd rather die than be separated from Javon." So this is their conversation. I guess I'll read it, child. "For my mental health and trauma and PTSD, this is not good for me. He's talking about living with his mom until we move back. I will not allow that. Please, I need you to understand and help." Mental health and trauma, question mark. Yes, because if I did nothing wrong, then we should be united, not separated. Please talk to him. I don't want to be apart, period. It's not right. So then she responded, "You didn't do anything wrong. It's not right. So then no space from me should be needed. Please tell him no space." Child. It says, "I will stop my whole life if you do that. I draw the line there. You would make me so angry and unhappy. I'd rather die. What kind of mom would do that? It's so wrong. Demore, I'm afraid of what he's going to do to you. I'm concerned for your safety. Let's discuss this, not over text." So then it says, "Demore, I'm concerned for you. I didn't say anything. Why don't you call me? I'm scared that something bad is going to happen to you." So then she responds, "I'll call you in a few. Nothing is going to happen to me. What I need is for you to tell Javon not to leave his mom's. Either come with me to a hotel or Airbnb if he's not comfortable with Olga, but not his mom's, because that means we're over, and I'm not okay with that. Demore, I'm so concerned for you and Nina when she tries to defend you. Why does it have to be over if he goes there? Why?" And then she said, "If you continue to think I'm being abused, this conversation won't ever work. I'll stop talking to you for good. Stop it, please." With these text messages and the beatings caught on audio and video tell the real story and why efforts were made to seek medical help for the plaintiff. What is entirely irrelevant is anything in this proceedings are the allegations. Those allegations strictly meant to assassinate Ms. Perez's character, label her a bad mom, a drug user, a confidential informant discussing arrests from 30 years ago, and choosing a life of crime over motherhood, most of which is alleged to have occurred before plaintiff was even born, are entirely immaterial and scandalous to have absolutely no relevance to plaintiff's cause of action. The references to old convictions for which Ms. Perez received a full unqualified presidential pardon in 2021 are not only factually inaccurate, but are asserted for no discernible basis other than to harass and defame Ms. Perez. In addition, counsel for plaintiff exaggerates the number of offenses with which Ms. Perez was charged, fails to acknowledge that many charges were dismissed, and purposefully mischaracterizes certain dates, all to paint a false picture of Ms. Perez. The inclusion of this information is nothing short of a transparent attempt to assassinate her character. Finally, aside from the arrest for over 30 years ago, the other allegations are bald-faced lies, and plaintiff knows it. Mm. 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 The earliest allegation of wrongdoing by Ms. Perez in the complaint is that she planted a camera in the Hadley's bedroom on July 18th of 2022, an absolute falsehood that, even if true, would have occurred 24 years after the 1988 arrest. Oh, they're trying to say, okay. Okay, they talking about her former charges. The fact that criminal charges were not pursued does not make those arrests fraudulent. Further, the allegation that Ms. Perez falsely reported to 911 that Javon kidnapped DeMore is a lie and debunked by police report itself. Plaintiff does not include the portion of the police report that states an anonymous caller reported Hadley to the police and that anonymous person was not Ms. Perez. Importantly, Hadley's lawful arrests have no relationship to the causes of action that allege a wrongful Baker Act and Marchman Act on plaintiff allegations, which she refuted and will provide to be completely false. Plaintiff's false representation that the components of a dancing toy flower available from Amazon for $6.99 are a listening device constitute a deliberate attempt to mislead the court and must be stricken. Child, that was what was recording, y'all, the little dancing flowers. Child. That's what it is. Child. Okay. For example, dancing flower is embedded video link demonstrating extraction of the components from the dancing flower that plaintiff and her counsel prejudicially present to the court is a covert listening device. While the component parts are clearly from a dancing flower, extracting these components parts requires the use of tools and force to disable it. These facts make it implausible for plaintiff to assert that the components were discovered in her bedroom, if indeed they ever were in plaintiff's bedroom. Rather, it is clear that these items were forcibly removed from a toy for the purpose of mischaracterizing them as a listening device. Child. Allegations of a separate lawsuit about a car have no relevance in this matter. Ms. Perez discusses a frivolous lawsuit filed by Ms. Perez against plaintiff related to a Mercedes that Ms. Perez had bought for the plaintiff. The lawsuit was initiated because the plaintiff wanted to sell the Mercedes and share the proceeds with Hadley. Oh, sadly, it is the plaintiff who falsely claims title to the car has always been in her name. As a review of records from the Florida DMV reveals, the car was originally purchased and titled to Ms. Perez's name in February 2021 and later retitled in the plaintiff's name in April of 2021. The complaint also gratuitously adds a brief reading of the lawsuit shows how low Ms. Perez will stoop to get what she wants. Okay, so let's get to these hyperlinks, child. Here go the exhibits. All right, the affidavit arrest. Exhibit 2. The domestic abuse charges. Child, they go to Dancing Flower from Amazon for $6.99. They go to the listening device, child. They're showing the packaging to show what part of the listening device came from the flower. Child, they done broke the damn flower. Look, y'all, look. Y'all, they done broke the flower down to show the listening device from the flower. Child, look what they did. Look. Girl. Where's the Dropbox? Y'all told me to go to the Dropbox. I don't see the Dropbox. Tracy, where's the Dropbox? You said it's in here. Hold on, let me scroll up. Maybe I missed it. Oh, is this it right here? The Dropbox right here. Okay, hold on. I went too fast. I was scrolling. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me pull up the Dropbox. Is it the Dropbox showing me how to... Oh, this is the recording? Okay, hold on. What is in this Dropbox? It looks like it's just to show me how to disassemble. What video am I playing? To show how to disassemble the damn flower? Is that the video y'all talking about? That's the video. This video right here? Hold on, let me see. I'm not. We get it. We get it. We get it. I ain't about to look at no video of her disassembling the damn thing. There are two videos. Hold on. Let me go back. Because all I see is the toy. Let me go back. I might have clicked the wrong link. Hold on, y'all. Let me scroll back up because that's about that damn flower. We get it. We get the flower. Let me scroll back. Let me look for the surveillance. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see because I might have clicked the wrong link. Is this two different links? All right. All of that is about the flower pot. We get it about the flower pot. Let me see if I can find what y'all talking about because I must have scrolled too fast. Hold on. All right, let me go back up. I must have went past it, y'all. Hold on, let me scroll back up. I don't see it, y'all. I must be going too fast. I must be going past it. Hold on. I don't see it. Let me see. Let me go. Let me try it again. Let me go a little slower. Hold on. These are the police reports. Police report. Police report. And then it talks about the teapot. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I think I know what I did wrong. Hold on. No. No, it's not what I thought it was. I don't know what, yeah, I don't know what it is, y'all. I don't know what I must, like I said, I guess I keep scrolling past it. I don't know. I don't see it. Just put in the chat what it says for the people who saw it on Pam. Andrea, Tracy, Ray, just put it in the chat because I don't see it. I don't see it. I must be scrolling past it or something. I don't see it. I see that it's 2 videos here, but it's the same. It's just somebody showing them how to take apart the damn thing. So I don't know what I'm missing. I mean, I don't know what I guess I'm just, like I said, I guess I'm just scrolling too fast. Let me see. All of this is the teapot. All of this is the teapot. And then this is the end of it. I don't know what I'm missing, y'all. Page 14. It's in the footnotes on page 14. I don't see no footnotes. Page 14. Hold on. So I got to go all the way back up to page 14? Okay, hold on. Let me go up to page 14. Hold on. All right, I'm on page 14. All right, hold on. Oh, this right here. Okay. All right. Thank you. Sorry, y'all. I was in the wrong part of the damn lawsuit. Okay. All right. It's downloading now, child. It's downloading now. Damn. Okay. Why your anxiety up, Ray? Because I couldn't find it. It's okay. It's okay. I wasn't sure. Tracy, I wasn't going to share the screen. Yeah, okay. I wasn't going to share the screen. Hold on. I'll share this one. I wasn't going to share the. Does this show the assault? I don't want to show the footage of the assault. Hold on. Let's see. All right, I'll play this one where you can hear it. I'm not going to play the one where you see it.
So wake up at 9 o'clock and call somebody at 9:30 for a fucking business call. You think that's okay? Look at my eyes and tell me that's okay. Yeah, 30 minutes prior, yeah. You're going to wake up at 9 o'clock and make a business call at 9:30. Yes, I wouldn't do anything else. I would just literally go outside, take me out, and make the call. change my bid to 5%. I'll pay you when I want to pay you, because you're going to be in the 5%, Demore. You cool with 5%? Shut up. Man, stop it. This fake ass crying. Feel like breaking this motherfucker. Everything. Fuck it. Oh, my mama. You know your mama thinks you the dumbest motherfucker ever? No, look me in my eye. Look me in my eye. Look me what I'm talking to you. Look me in my eye. Look me in my eye when I'm talking to you. No, I'm talking, man. No, I'm talking. You right. I look out for all y'all. You right. But you know how Demore is. You know how she is. She got no business. I gotta get her right. She got no business. Nobody hit Demore. Nobody hit her.
Nobody touch her.
No, don't come in here like I touch her. Don't come in here like I touch her. I'm tired of that shit.
Nobody touch her.
Stop calling.
Never touch her.
Man, I don't care about that.
Nobody touch Morty. Nobody
Go ahead, man.
Nobody touch Morty.
Go ahead.
Nobody
Go
touch
ahead.
Morty.
Man, back up. See the shit you do? That's what you do. That's what you do. God, what you think I'm gonna do? We got money on the line. What you think I'm gonna do? 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 I work hard for this. You do a podcast on the fucking phone. What you think I'm gonna do? Man, shut up. I'm talking. I told you I'm gonna call your mama. Hello, I'm sorry, Mr. Red. We had a business meeting. I told Demore. I'm just talking. Nobody did anything to nobody. I'm here having a conversation with her. We had a business meeting worth a lot of money. I'm telling her to call you to see if her decision was okay. The business meeting, this dude, man, fuck all that, man. You keep fucking my shit up, dog. Man, I don't care, dog. I worked so hard for this shit, man. Man, your daughter is bugging the fuck out. I worked so hard, man. All I asked was some little shit, dog. We went on the game plan all week. Man, you got me sick. You fucking don't let me go nowhere. And then when I need you to do something, you don't do it. And you keep saying all this other shit. Man, we got a game plan, dog. I'm fucking broke out here hungry, man. My niggas in the streets, dog. I'm trying to get it. You fucking over here playing, you rich motherfucker. Cause you rich, you don't give a fuck about none of this shit, bro. But then when I do something else, you get mad. You don't want me to do nothing by myself. You want to be a part of everything. But as soon as I get you a little something,
I don't know if that's the end of it or not. Hold on, let me see. I think that's the end of it. So now that we've heard both sides, and thank you to the people in the chat. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, guys. I was scrolling past it. I wasn't in the right place. So thank you. But now that we have had an opportunity to hear both sides of the story, this is what I'm going to say. I want to be careful how I say this, because on one hand, I believe that this was a mama trying to get her daughter out of a situation that was abusive. We saw footage of him putting his hands on her. We've heard the audio. Do I believe that this man was abusive to her daughter? It sounds like it and it looks like it. So I'm going to say yes. Okay. But do I also think that Miss Desiree Perez was using a little bit of that money she has, a little bit of that influence she has in order to try and help her daughter get out of a situation that her daughter clearly don't want to be out of? I do. I believe that Miss Perez had them people following them. I believe that Miss Perez got them doctors to lie. I believe that Miss Perez got that lady to pretend to be a Nike exec to try to... I believe it. Now, that's my opinion. But on the flip side, we were literally just saying last week about Cassie's mama, why she ain't do nothing. So, listen, you got the mama over here who said, well, he said he was sorry and he said he won't do it again. And then you got the mama over here that went gangster on that shit and said, listen, I got a little money, I got a little influence, and I'm about to do what I got to do to try to save my baby. Now, the problem is, just as in a lot of these cases, until she ready, is really nothing that the mama can do. Until she ready, until she ready. Now, again, I'm not saying that I think Desiree is right or wrong. I'm just saying I believe. You know what I'm saying? But it's clear that this is an unhealthy relationship. Okay? It's clear that this is an unhealthy relationship. And the family probably wants her away from this man. And they've probably done everything they know how to do to make it happen. That's what I believe. But anyway, y'all, we have been here for 2 hours. Thank you, Tracy, as always. Ray, Andrea, for giving me the, trying to help me out, honey, trying to help me out. Yeah. I believe that Desiree is a gangster. Now, I ain't gonna say I think she right or wrong, because I think that that's what people do. They do what they feel like they have to do for their children, to try to save their children, what they feel like is in the best interest of their children. Like, I believe all of that. So I ain't about to sit here and say that she wrong, because listen, like I said last week, people was all complaining about, well, where was Cassie mama? Why Cassie mama ain't do nothing? My family would have done ... Well, now we got a family that's doing ... You know what I'm saying? Now we got a mama that's like, I'm here for whatever to save my child. You know, and if that means I got to cross a line, I'm going to cross the line. If that means I got to deal with this on the back end, I'm going to deal with it on the back end. I mean, so, you know, but I think two things can be true at the same time. Like, do I think that this is an unhealthy relationship? Do I think that she's being abused? Yeah, I do. But do I think that Desiree didn't necessarily follow all of the legal guidelines to try to get her daughter some help? You know. Anyway, let me get off here. Do not forget that tonight at 8:30-ish, we will be the Whether You Like It or Not panel will be over on Sakina's channel. We will be over there at 8:30-ish. Y'all know. We're going to talk about last night's episode, honey. We're going to talk about last night's episode. I'm about to go take me a break. I might take me a little nap. I might maybe lie down for an hour or so, honey. You know, I've had a long day. My members, I did a members only earlier. I've had a long day, child. So I might take me a little hour nap. Give me a little closed eye for a few minutes before we get this panel together. But I'll be back at 8:30 over at Sakina's house. Thank y'all so much.